Is there an Echo in here?
Yes,
What?
I'm Echo.
Really?
Now, welcome to another edition of Battle of the Heroes and Villains, where this time we'll be taking a look at the results of the poll for Echo, comparing those results to the other 54 characters we've now done, before I then read and respond to some of your comments. But before we do all that, just a reminder, you can already head down to nominate and or vote for which character we do next. Just respond to my pinned comment below with a character name or vote with a thumbs up if the one you'd like to see is already listed. Whichever single comment gets the most votes in the next 24 hours or so will be the winner and the character we do next. Alright, and now on to the results for Echo, where we'll see that 20% of voters thought that he was A-tier material, 56% then went with a B, 18% gave him a C, which left 3% to give him a D, and a final 3% that gave him an F. And so when we do all the math here and consider A a score of 5 and F a score of 1, that means Echo ends up with an average score of 3.87, which puts him into a tie for 32nd place with Mace Windu, which then means we have to go to the tiebreaker, which for better or worse is percentage of first place votes received, which then puts Mace ahead of Echo. And before we get to your comments, let me once again just say thank you to everyone who votes, comments, and watches these videos, or any of my videos. It is all greatly appreciated. Also a big thank you to everyone who supports this channel over on Patreon. And so now let's kick this off, as we always do, with the top rated comment, which this time came to us from Even More, who said, Echo in Clone Wars was awesome. Echo in Bad Batch is painfully underutilized. And wait a second here, Echo is in the Bad Batch? Since when? But seriously, I couldn't agree more with this comment. He is painfully underutilized, to the point where you often do forget he is even a member of the team, unless there's randomly something for him to do, albeit briefly do. And I think this comment from JEC, where they say he's a glorified key whenever a door needs to be opened, puts it best. Because again, we only really see him or hear from him when there is something that needs to be done. There's been no sort of character development or progression with him at all. I mean, he's barely speaking in most episodes, though he has a couple moments of humor here and there, which are pretty good, mainly because of his name. Echo gets used as a joke or a pun, perhaps. And all of that kind of makes him feel like the droid of the group or of the team, and every good Star Wars story needs its droid, right? And I don't say that or call him a droid to be an ass or anything, because yes, he does have some mechanical parts and has an arm which is kind of doubling as a droid attachment. But I call him that because, well, the team doesn't have a droid unless you count the power droid. And so that's the role Echo basically fills or fits so far. That faithful and reliable character that's always there when you need them to be, when they can be useful, or when maybe a good laugh or a good joke is needed. But otherwise, they're just kind of rolling around in the background. Alright, and next up here we have this comment from Matthias Finley, who said, honestly, in Season 7, when he showed up again, I had forgotten who he was, although I'm not sure whether that's a problem with the show or a problem with my memory. One thing I can't agree on, however, is that he was basically nothing in the Bad Batch. It felt like the writers felt like 4 Bad Batch members would have felt like too little, so they added Echo in to fill out the team. And I think you might be right here. I think with Crosshair basically leaving the team, they may have felt like they needed another character in there, though I'm surprised they didn't get a non-clone character on the team at all. I mean, even Omega is technically a clone, though she's obviously much different from her brothers. Unless maybe they wanted a reg or a regular clone on the team to sort of compare and contrast in a way with the Bad Batch, who are anything but regular clones. At which point you could argue that Echo is either the perfect choice or the way wrong choice for that. Considering, yeah, I think he is a very sort of by-the-book clone, or used to be, which is, of course, the opposite of the team. Yet at the same time, he's had anything but the average clone experience. He first went on to be an ARC trooper, which is the best of the best, and they are extremely rare, obviously. And then he's captured by the Separatists after thought to be dead, and then he goes through all of this crazy stuff. So again, he's not really what you might call a regular reg. He's anything but. He has had all these crazy experiences. He's been an ARC trooper. So I'm not sure he's the best choice for a reg. I don't really know why they picked him to be on this team other than name recognition. Moving on, then, we have a comment here from CNash2099 who said, Echo is the manifestation, beginning, middle, and end of the Clone Wars. His arc is one of loss and family. We saw the bond of Domino Squad, And when he lost them, he had the Bad Batch there. Sadly, we haven't been shown enough of his new life, at least from his point of view. Hopefully, Season 2, he gets the spotlight he deserves. For that, I give him a B. Also, this comment from Jer Bear, who said, Echo is a reminder of the scars of war, and it has been reflected in the Clone Wars, but in the Bad Batch, that part of his character has been hidden. And that's really the other sort of direction Echo could have been taken in, the perfect sort of always present reminder of the horrors of the Clone Wars, of what the clones went through during that war, how many died or were wounded or whatever, and for what? To be used to take over the Republic, essentially, for Palpatine? And they never really go there with him at all, even though opportunities have been there to do just that, mainly with the episode where they go and rescue a Separatist senator. It was the perfect time for Echo to have an episode, if you will, and to shine and to be used as a reminder of all the horrors that had taken place during the Clone Wars. Instead, they seem to just get over the Separatists and rescue the senator and put all that behind them really, really quickly. Okay, and moving on now, we have this comment from Carlos Esquivel, who said, Echo was a good character, but he was honestly not as good as several other clones in the series, and in the Bad Batch, he's practically non-existent. Then there's also this one from Ember Productions, who said, I feel like Echo is not nearly as charming as he was in the Clone Wars, especially without Fives or Rex. Then this one from Espen Sheep, who said, I've been rewatching the Clone Wars, and I have found that Echo never really got a lot of development compared to Fives, who got an entire arc devoted to him. Echo in the Bad Batch was just downright awful and didn't get any development, to the point where him saying anything was considered character development. I liked Echo most in the Citadel episodes. Also here we have this one from Glenn Jordan, who said, I have to give him a B. In Clone Wars, he's a good enough character that you feel sad he's gone and glad to see him come back. He wasn't the most exciting, but he was still a good character and enough of a standout among the many great clones. Once Bad Batch comes around, though, he's not any worse. He just doesn't get used. He could be an easy A if he just had more to do and some development. Next up, this comment then from Gabriel Brown, who said, Echo had some good moments in the Clone Wars, especially with Fives, but he was always just a minor character. So I was excited for him to appear in the Bad Batch so he could actually get some development and come into his own as a character. Instead, he just kept being a minor character, an Echo, if you will. He has potential to be a great character, but he's never really been explored, even in a show where he's one of the main people we're following, and there's plenty of opportunities for character development. Overall, he gets a C from me, but could be improved with future seasons. And when it comes to the sort of main character clones from the Clone Wars, I'd certainly say Echo was a step or two below the likes of a Rex or a Fives, which isn't to say he was a bad character or that I didn't like him, but he did also have a way of feeling like the side character in another character's story most of the time. And I can't really think of an episode where the story really truly focused on him, or more or less on him, other than in the Season 7 story arc when the story turns into rescuing him, but he's more of an objective than a character there, per se. But anyway, speaking of that Season 7 arc, when the ending of it was changed to have Echo join the Bad Batch, which doesn't happen in the original version of it, and then the announcement of the Bad Batch show comes shortly after that, where we can safely assume Echo is going to be in it. Well, like a lot of people, I thought he'd finally get his moment to shine, that not the whole series would be about him or anything, but I figured he'd get an episode or two to really take front and center, and that really brought him into the spotlight so we could see who Echo really is, especially after these experiences he's went through. But after one season, we're still left waiting for that. Alright, and moving on now, we have this comment from Only Juan Canoli, who said, I'd like to echo many of the responses here. His arc in Clone Wars was pretty compelling, but he hasn't found his place in the Bad Batch yet. Seems like he and Tech have too much overlap in skills. And I think you're right, it does come off feeling like there's some, what you might call, redundancy or overlap between Echo and Tech, like they fill the same role as the smart guy or problem solver. And if you've never seen Clone Wars and you don't know who Echo is from there, you may even think they're one and the same, I don't know. But the funny thing is that when you really stop and think about it, they're almost nothing alike, or should be nothing alike. And they should be filling radically different roles on the show or on the team. I mean, Tech is a very analytical character, always sort of looking at things from a purely numbers or by the numbers standpoint. to the point where he often misses the obvious if it involves any sort of variable beyond the numbers or raw data, or any sort of compassion or emotion needs to be factored into a decision, which isn't to say he's cold-hearted. He sees it when pointed out to him. He just doesn't think that way. Then there's Echo, who really should be the heart and soul of the team, the one who, again, has seen the horrors of war and all the pain and suffering the clones went through. He's the one who should always be looking at things through the lens or from the perspective of that we need to do what is right to help others to be better. But for better or worse, that role belongs to Omega. Instead, she's the one questioning if what they're doing is right, or is always pushing them to help others. And though I'm not saying that doesn't work for her character, I personally liked her earlier in the season when she was more curious than anything else. And it would have been interesting if she had developed her desire to help others from Echo. Alright, and now let's get to just a few final comments before wrapping this up. Starting with this one from Emperor Cubone, who said, Echo was by far my favorite clone in the show. I was so sad when they killed him off, but I was ecstatic when they brought him back. However, I do wish the Bad Batch would make better use of him. He could be such an asset to the team, not to mention invaluable in knowing the ways that the Regs work and their strategies. Instead, they just treat him like an understudy to Tech. I'm still giving him an A because of everything he was in Clone Wars, but the Bad Batch better start using its best character to their full potential. Then there's this one from Beth R, who said, while I look forward to seeing Echo undergo greater development in Season 2 of The Bad Batch, I enjoyed what moments we got of him in that first season. Thinking back to when he was a by-the-book cadet, I love to see him interacting with the less conventional Bad Batch while maintaining his sense of honor and holding other members of the team to do the same. Echo is a source of integrity as the squad struggles to find its purpose, grounding them in who they were as warriors. I think his influence will be pivotal in turning them from mercenaries into rebels. Also got a comment here from Andre Nitro X1000, who said, I always liked seeing him in his episodes, the by-the-book cop to Five's more loose cannon type. When he died, I was actually shocked, but seeing him come back to life was good for me. But in Bad Batch, he's really just the extra guy. Next up, this one from AB the Dragon, who said, I liked him and there's nothing seriously wrong with him, but I just don't connect with him as much as other clones like Rex. Also, I kind of feel like them bringing him back in Season 7 was a little disappointing because then the tragic story of Domino Squad kind of loses a bit of its impact since one member is still alive. But hey, nitpick. As for the Bad Batch, Echo's role seemed lesser than I'd hoped as a member of the team. Still can't hate on him too much, as I've said before. He's not bad, but could have been better, a B. Also got this comment here from Live Long with Force, who said, Echo literally echoes what I'm thinking out loud during the episode. And finally, this comment from Noah Hartson, who said, I really hope the second season of Bad Batch does something good for this character. He was such a cool clone in the Clone Wars show. I love how they brought him back in the 7th season for an amazing arc, but he just has been a background character ever since. I wish I could give him an A, but I just can't because of how forgettable he is in Bad Batch. Solid B. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you think of Echo, or what you think of what I or anyone else had to say about him here in this video, or you can always go ahead and nominate and or vote for which character we do next. Just respond to that pinned comment below, or put a comment of your own down there. Whatever the case may be, let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.